Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take some really interesting source material and, well, we dive deep, pulling out the key insights so you get the picture fast.
Making you well-informed without needing hours of reading.
Exactly. And today, we're looking at something pretty classic, the first act of La Vida es Sueño by Pedro Calderón de la Barca. Life is a Dream.
A giant of the Spanish Golden Age.
Right. So our mission here is to kind of cut through that, sometimes complex 17th century language and figure out what's really going on in this first act.
What are the core lessons, the main setup? Make it accessible, make it relevant.
Because this act really does set everything up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Introduces the key players, the big conflicts. It's all there right at the start.
It absolutely is. Consider this your essential guide to Act I. We'll unpack those dramatic entrances, the secrets that pop up, the political games already being played.
And keep an eye on those big questions the play starts asking immediately.
Those timeless themes, yeah.
Okay, let's jump right in then. The play kicks off, boom, high in the mountains of Poland. Pretty dramatic setting.
Very. And we meet Rosora, who's interestingly disguised as a man, and her sidekick, Clarin. And their arrival is, let's just say, not smooth.
Not smooth at all. Rosora bursts onto the scene with this incredibly passionate speech, right? It's all about fate and how badly Poland is treating her.
Oh, completely. It's this intense lament. She feels deeply wrong. Her language is so rich, so poetic, even in translation. She says something like, Poland, you receive a stranger badly, since you write their entry in your sands with blood.
Wow, yeah. Not exactly welcome to Poland. It signals trouble immediately. What's her deal?
Exactly. You're instantly wondering what backstory led her here, what injustice she's fleeing or fighting.
And then you've got Clarin. He's the gracioso, the funny guy.
Right, the comic relief.
Yeah.
While Rezora's delivering these grand pronouncements about fate, he's just complaining about being dragged along, being hungry, tired.
Shared misfortunes, but on a much more basic level.
Totally. He's like, yeah, fate's terrible, but can we talk about my aching feet?
And it's a great contrast. Her high drama is very down-to-earth misery.
So they're lost, they're complaining, and then they stumble upon this building.
Yeah, this isolated kind of spooky tower, and the first thing they hear, the sound of chains rattling.
Instantly raises the stakes, creates this sense of mystery, unease. What is this place? Who's inside?
Which brings us, of course, to the central figure of the play, really, Segismundo.
The big reveal. Can you paint the picture for us? What's that first encounter like?
Yeah, it's a powerful image. They peer into this dark, almost subterranean prison cell, dim light. And there's a man, Segismundo, dressed in rough animal skins, literally bound in chains.
Grim.
Very grim. Utter isolation. And his reaction when he realizes he's been seen, it's explosive, but also incredibly philosophical.
That first speech is just stunning, isn't it? He cries out, oh, miserable me, oh, unhappy, and then he basically demands answers from the heavens.
What crime did I commit against you by being born? That's the killer line. Right. It just throws that massive question out there immediately. Destiny versus free will. Was his suffering predetermined just by his birth?
Exactly. And he doesn't just leave it there. He launches into these incredibly moving comparisons. He looks at the freedom of animals, of nature.
Yeah, the bird flies free, the beast roams.
The fish swims where it wants in the sea. Even the stream flows without obstacles. He points out all these creatures have a natural liberty.
And he, with his human reason, his soul, has less freedom than any of them.
Precisely. He uses these beautiful, vivid images, the bird as a flower of feather, the animal marked by the sign of the stars, the fish a ship of scales, the stream like a snake unwinding among flowers. It really hammers home the injustice he feels.
It's not just being locked up, it's being denied something fundamental.
Something essential to existence itself. You can feel this raw anger bubbling up in him, the sense that he's been profoundly wronged and wants vengeance.
And how do Rosora and Clarin react to finding this tormented soul?
It shows their characters perfectly. Rosora is immediately struck with pity. It's a very human response.
You'd have to be, right?
Absolutely. But Clarin, he's terrified. True to form, the chains, the wild appearance, he's just scared. Comic fear, but fear nonetheless.
And Segismundo's first reaction to them isn't exactly welcoming either, is it?
No way. He threatens Rosora with death just for seeing him in his miserable state. It shows how isolation has made him almost feral, untamed.
But then something shifts.
It does. It's fascinating. When he actually sees Rosora properly, his tone changes. There's curiosity, wonder, maybe even a flicker of vulnerability.
Why? Just seeing another person.
They think so. He's been so starved of human contact. He says her voice touched him, her presence arrested him, her respect disturbed him. It's like she's pierced through that rough
A
exterior.
chink in the armor.
Exactly. The first glimpse that he's more than just this wild creature.
He then talks about his world, right? This tiny existence.
Yeah, the tower is his cradle and tomb. Stark. His only human contact has been Clotaldo, his jailer, and he says he's educated himself by watching nature, the stars, from his prison window.
It's quite incredible, really. Self-taught in the most extreme conditions.
And he gives himself that amazing description, a man of the beasts and a beast of men.
Captures his paradox perfectly. Human mind, animal existence.
And his reaction to Rosora becomes almost obsessive. He talks about dying to see her, this idea that her presence is both life and death to him. It's intense. She represents the world he's been denied.
And what does Rosora do? Does she run screaming?
No, interestingly, she shows compassion. She shares this little parable about wise men and finding solace even in suffering, suggesting maybe her own troubles aren't as bad as his. It shows her depth.
A moment of connection?
A brief one, because then Clotaldo arrives with guards and everything changes again.
The interruption. Loud, sudden.
Very. Clotaldo is instantly hostile, sees intruders near the Forbidden Tower, orders them captured or killed, masked guards, adding to the menace.
And Segismundo calls him alcalde governor, jailer. Confirms their relationship.
Yes. Rosora and Clarin are seized, but then comes a really crucial moment involving Clotaldo.
The sword.
The sword. Clotaldo is initially just doing his job enforcing the king's strict order. Nobody sees the prodigy, the strange being in the tower.
But then Rosora shows him her sword.
And he recognizes it. You can practically feel the shift. While this is happening, Segismundo is raging against Clotaldo, defiant.
Doesn't want them punished for his sake.
Right.
Yeah.
But Clotaldo delivers this cryptic warning back to Segismundo about destiny, about his imprisonment being necessary to control his arrogant furies, hinting there's more to this than just locking someone up.
And Rosora pleads for mercy. Clarin tries his usual humorous groveling, but the sword is the key.
It is. Rosora explains. A woman gave it to her, told her to show it to Polish nobles, said it holds the secret to avenging some wrong done to her.
And Clotaldo.
He's stunned. He realizes it's the sword he gave to a woman named Violante years ago, with a promise.
What promise?
That whoever carried that sword, if it was a child of hers, he would recognize them as his own child, treat them with love and pity.
Oh, wow, so Rosora is...
Potentially his daughter, or son, as she's disguised. It throws him into this massive internal conflict.
Duty versus, well, love.
Yeah.
Paternity.
Exactly. His loyalty to the king versus this sudden, shocking revelation. And she's seeking vengeance against someone powerful in Poland. He's torn. He literally says something like, loyalty on one side, self-love, or perhaps paternal love on the other. They defeat me.
What does he decide?
He decides to take them to the king. It's a gamble. He hopes King Basilio's famous piety and wisdom might offer a way out, maybe allow him to help Rosora without exposing his own secret connection. It's a really tense moment for him.
So this personal drama is unfolding, the secret of the tower is breached,
Yeah.
and then the scene changes completely.
Right. We cut to the royal court, much more formal setting,
Right.
and we meet Astolfo and Estrella.
The cousins
Yeah.
and potential rivals.
Definitely rivals. They exchange these very polite, very elaborate greetings, but you can feel the tension underneath. They're both vying for the Polish throne since the previous king, Eustorgio, died.
What are their claims based on?
It's a classic succession issue. Estrella is the daughter of the older sister, so by primogeniture inheritance, by the firstborn line, she arguably has the stronger claim.
But Astolfo is male.
Exactly. He's the son of a younger sister, but he's male, which often carried weight. Their uncle, King Basilio, is supposed to sort it out.
And Astolfo hasn't come to fight, apparently.
No, he claims he's come from Moscow aiming for an alliance, not war. Specifically, he wants to marry Estrella to unite their claims.
Sensible politics, maybe? But Estrella seems suspicious.
She is. There's a hint about a portrait Astolfo wears, apparently of another woman. It suggests he might not be entirely sincere, maybe he has another attachment, adds a layer of personal drama to the political maneuvering.
And into this slightly tense atmosphere walks the king himself, Basilio.
Yes, King Basilio. He's built up as this incredibly learned figure, renowned for his knowledge, especially in...
It's astrology, reading the stars.
Exactly. He commands silence, says he has something astonishing to reveal, and boy, does he deliver.
This is the moment we find out why Segismundo is locked up.
Yes. Basilio leans heavily on his reputation as this docto, this scholar who understands the heavens. He then makes a stunning confession. He has a son, Segismundo.
A son everyone thought was dead.
Right. He explains that Segismundo's birth was surrounded by the most terrible omens and astrological signs. Really disturbing stuff.
Can you give us a sense of that? What did he see in the stars?
Oh, it's incredibly dramatic. He talks about his wife having horrific dreams, giving birth to a monster who tore her apart. The planets were in violent opposition at the birth. The sun was eclipsed, earthquakes, floods, natural chaos mirroring celestial warnings.
So not just a bad horoscope, but like cosmic disaster level.
Pretty much. And Basilio's interpretation was bleak. The stars predicted Segismundo would be monstrously cruel, a tyrant, impious, someone who would divide the kingdom, humiliate his father, and trample all over him.
Literally walk over his own father's body.
That level of graphic prediction. So, faced with this horrifying forecast,
He locked him away.
from birth, secretly, in that remote tower, told everyone the prince had died. His justification, it was an attempt to defy fate, or at least mitigate it.
He wanted to see if wisdom, upbringing, could overcome the star's influence.
Exactly. He actually voices that core philosophical debate. El libre albedrío, free will. He believes the stars incline us, suggest paths, but don't force us. Our will can potentially conquer destiny. That's the theory he was testing.
And now he's ready for the results of his experiment.
Precisely. He unveils his plan. Brings Segismundo to the palace just for a short time, see how he behaves. If he acts nobly, he's the true heir.
And if he acts like the tyrant the stars predicted.
Back to the tower he goes, permanently.
Wow, high stakes.
Extremely. And there's another twist. He plans to drug Segismundo before bringing him to court,
Why?
so that if Segismundo does prove to be a monster and has to be sent back, they can tell him the whole experience at court was just a dream.
Ah, life is a dream.
Yeah.
There it is.
Right there. It's a way to manage the potential psychological fallout for Segismundo to prevent total despair or rebellion if he fails the test.